Test the mic. Okay, can everybody hear me way in the back? Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you can't hear us during the meeting, I'm just asking, instead of yelling out, because we have the owl for the online, we have the new mic system so you can all hear us. If you can't hear us, how about just a thumbs down and you can't hear us, and we'll all speak a little louder, okay? Does that work for everybody? Okay. We're going to take the meeting agenda a little out of order. We're going to do the Coakley Middle School, 1315 Washington Street. I'm going to read, hold on, I'm going to read my little script first. Good evening and welcome to the Norwood Planning Board. My name is Debbie Homewood and I serve as chair on the board. A quorum is present. Our final member is online. Therefore, I've called the meeting to order. Tonight's proceeding will go as follows. Public hearings will be opened by reading the legal notice into record. The applicant will have an opportunity to make their presentation to the board. The board members may then ask questions of the applicant. Once the board concludes its questioning, we will open the hearing for public comment. All members in public attendance who wish to question or make a comment, please wait to be recognized before speaking. Once recognized, be prepared to state your name and address for the record and speak loudly for all to hear. You can come up to the podium. The podium is also mic'd. All questions and comments need to be directed through the chair. I'll call upon board members and the applicant is needed to respond. Then we move into a period of deliberation where we'll determine whether or not to close the public hearing and move to vote or continue the public hearing to a later date. As a reminder, we can disagree without being disagreeable. Please remain respectful. Please be concise and speak up so we can hear you, and please turn off your cell phones. And that's it. So our first item on the agenda, we're going to take our agenda, as I said, out of order. We're doing 1315 Washington Street, Coakley Middle School, site plan modification, and they had the ribbon cutting today. Okay. What are we doing with Coakley Middle School?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Request to further continue this hearing until September 22nd.
Oh, how easy is that? Okay. They're asking for a continuance until September 22nd. Do I have a second? Somebody needs to make a motion. Motion? We're postponing the meeting for the Coakley until the 22nd of September. Continuing, sorry, not postponing. Continuing the meeting for the Coakley until September 22nd. So
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to continue the hearing, the meeting on the Coakley until September 22nd at 7:05.
Second. And we have a second by Mr. Sheehan. All in favor? We have to roll call. Ernie's online. Ernie?
Yes. Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And the chair says yes. So that's continued until the 22nd. Second on the agenda is our sign request. I gotta move this closer. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. No, we're doing 66-72 Broadway Street, site plan review, parking area improvements. Who is presenting for, this gentleman's presenting, okay.
Where would you like the easel?
How about right over there, Sarah? Then the camera can see it?
Are you speaking to this mic?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Just state your name and what.
My name is Manuel Piva. I'm the project manager. I represent the owner and the landlord, owner, and manager for the property. Property's at 66 and 72 Broadway. My address is 20 Varsity Place. in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. I have some revised plans for the board that address the comments. Unfortunately, I was not able to get them ahead of time. If I could pass these to the board,
Please.
and I'm prepared to go over the revisions.
Okay.
So the aerial slide that you see here outlines where the property is on the commercial side of the street. The business name is No Name Auto and Repair. The tenant has been doing business at this location for 1 year as of July. The property is surrounded by businesses I mentioned. We are seeking waiver from the full site plan review. To date, we have secured the following approvals. We were in front of the planning board for a signage approval back in September of 2024. We received that approval. We've since received the building permit. The banners are on, and non-lit banners are on the building. We've requested the building inspector to sign off on those and close that sign permit. I believe the building inspector is going to send someone to site tomorrow to close off that sign permit. And we're in front of you following a Board of Selectmen approval on a used car dealer's license. We secured the used car dealer's license for the sale of 3 automobiles that would be housed in the building, not on the parking lot. And 2 of the conditions of approval were to beautify a small landscape strip in front of the site and to add a fence there also, and to add a fence to separate both properties from us to the property to the side. So since then, we have received comments from the Conservation Commission and comments from the planner. The plans I just handed you cover all those comments, and I'll flip this over.
These look just like the ones that were in our package. Nothing changed from our package.
And I'll explain what changed in this submission versus what is in front of you. The first item was the existing dumpster needed to be screened by a 6-foot-high wooden stockade fence. As you are aware in the property, there's 3 or 4 dumpsters, which the only one dumpster that is the tenant's is the one to the right of the site and back in this area, right behind this building, right where I'm showing. So that revised site plan that you're looking at in blue shows a 12 by 12, 6-foot-high stockade fence enclosure, keeping it 5 foot off the building, just for fire regulations. That was the first change. The second change was the planner questioned if we had the correct vacuum maneuverability and space dimensions of all the spaces. So all the spaces are now dimensioned at 9.5 feet wide, 18.5 foot deep. And we had to get creative on the spaces to the right of the building in order to create, not to block the access to the dumpster. So we put 3 straight back and 1 on an angle. The next change was there was concern with keeping the back of the building blocked off or screened for trash and debris. So the fence line that's down this side property, the first section till it gets to the front of the building is proposed to be 6-foot-high wooden stockade fence, which will screen it. And then before that, to the end of this grass strip would be an open rail decorative fence, which is depicted here. And that was directly from the Board of Selectmen. The other change from your previous submission is this front landscape berm. Now in the right here, the species are indicated where they weren't indicated before. And today, around 10:30 a.m., I believe a member of the board walked the site with the property manager was here today and was just walking the site relative to this proposal. That is it, and I apologize again that I couldn't get these to you ahead of the meeting. It was due to vacations and just timing didn't work out to get them to you ahead of time.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
What we have in our package what looks different?
The dumpster is not enclosed, and the spaces to the right of the building have been reconfigured. And again, the post and rail fence
What was that?
is now separated for post and rail and a solid wood. That's the only difference. Other than that, it does look very same, very much the same.
And dimensions.
And dimensions are now added to every space.
Okay. Okay, I will open it up, I'll open it up to the board for questions. Anybody have any questions? Ernie? Any questions?
Ernie, you're muted.
You're muted.
No, no questions, Madam Chairman. I think it looks good.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions?
No, looks good.
I have questions. We all know this property, and I was the one that was down there today, because I wanted to see where. We haven't had a chance to beautify this property for 30 years, at least.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna pretend I understand why the Board of Selectmen are the ones that are doing site plan review. I tried to get a hold of a couple of them today to say, what am I missing? I've never seen this happen before. I understand you had to go to them for the cars, but site plan review is supposed to be the purview of the planning board.
Correct.
We love our businesses, all we're looking for is a little prettier. And we all go to Murph's, we all use No Name, or some of us use No Name. To put a picket fence where there's gonna be lots of cars and people moving around, and dumpsters moving around, and heavy equipment moving dumpsters around, to me doesn't make a lot of sense from a landlord standpoint. It's gonna have to be repaired. Ernie's gonna flip when I say, how about some arborvitae's along that patch of dirt? And you're gonna shade, it's gonna buffer it, it's gonna look a little better, we're gonna get some green space. I know we have to do something and go back to the selectmen. Again, I've only been sitting here for 3 terms. I've never seen the Board of Selectmen say, we're doing site plan review. But Sarah would have to explain to me how we're able to do that. If the applicant is,
And again, we're willing to modify that plan. We were merely doing it based on a Board of Selectmen request and comments from the planner and the conservation agent. But I know exactly what you mean, is down this side, there is a grass berm that goes right where this fence is. So if
yes,
you
I
put-
have pictures.
So if
Okay,
you put it right down that,
put it to the building with arborvitae's, and I don't see why you need a fence. I measured off, it's 2 of my feet between the wall of your building and a fence. I don't see why you need anything there. You can't repair the building when you're gonna repair the building unless you take the fence out. I do think you should have the 6-foot stockade at the end, so you're covering up all that stuff in the back. It just makes sense to me, and it would be prettier for those of us that go to Murph's. But I don't know how logistically, if we get a better project, is it okay that we do this? But Sarah's gotta tell us how we do that, how we get around that. Again, I only stepped into this today. I was down there to take a picture. We get our packages on Thursday. I didn't start looking at it till early Friday. And then there's nobody to talk to. So that's why Monday, and all of a sudden, we're doing this. So what do you think, Glasses?
Pass that down.
Oh. Oh,
Thank you, Derek. So the applicant had to apply to the Board of Selectmen for a auto dealer license.
Right.
And in their review of that, and under their purview, they required, as a condition of their approval, the fencing and the landscaping that's shown on this plan. The planning board still has authority under its own purview to review for site plan review. And site plan review does include such considerations as circulation, emergency access, visual intrusion, making sure that's minimized. So all of those criteria could, influence your review of things like landscaping and screening, fencing, that sort of thing. But you should be aware that the applicant has included those specific features because that's a condition of the licensing approval. If planning board were to issue a site plan approval that did not include those elements, it would be on the applicant then to return to the Board of Selectmen and request a modification of their approval. A little ping pong ball action between the two regulatory boards. But each board does have, a role to play in reviewing this project. The Selectmen's is more related to the use in selling used vehicles, and yours is related more towards the environmental impacts of the site itself, the striping, the landscaping, the circulation.
So if the board were in favor, thank you, Jerry. If the board were in favor of doing the trees on the stripe and the applicant was willing to do that, does it jeopardize he's got to go back to the selectmen? Okay. But we're still doing what the selectmen want and what we all want. We want to delineate between MRFs and no-name. And I think most of us want it to look a little prettier. And the trees will give you screening. It'll delineate the property. It won't be as high maintenance, in my opinion, because if a car backs into a tree, it's not, it's not going to crack. So do I ask the applicant if that's something he's willing to do? Or do we ask the board? What does the board think? Do we have anybody on the board that has an opinion on this? How about you, Joe?
Thank you. That sounds like a good idea. So we could have that discussion
Okay.
from what you recommend and what he may be willing to do.
Would that also be applicable to the berm in the front?
The berm in the front, I get what the selectmen are trying to get at. They want it to be prettier where we're walking on the sidewalk. Again, this is why I try to say to my board members, we need to look at the property we're voting on, because this doesn't tell us what we're looking at. I think a grass strip in, 10 feet? In a 10-feet strip, where cars are going to be parking on it, is not going to give us what we want. They're going to run over it. You got to get a lawnmower out to cut a 10-foot strip. I'm not in favor of the 10-foot strip, as much as I'm a green person. I would rather you give me more green down the side. I'd rather see planters that you could move and put them, but let's not even go there. But a green strip in front, I get what the selectmen were going for. I think it's admirable. We're walking on the sidewalk. We want it to look prettier. But I want it to look prettier in the future, not just when you put it in and not after the cars have run over it and it's all muddy and it's dead and it's got cigarette butts in it. So I think that's what, my opinion, that's what that 10-foot strip is going to end up being. But we can argue about that later, I think. Rob, you got anything?
Debbie, I think if you have any ideas for site plan approval, we shouldn't be worried about what he has to do in order to get his license. This is kind of tangled up somehow, so I think if we're gonna agree to go with the plan that's in front of us, then we do that. If we want to make changes, we make changes, and he can deal with it.
Okay. So, somebody's going to make a motion that we change the plan, correct, Sarah? Okay. Anybody willing to make a motion to amend the plan? Oh, yes, Ernie. Yes, Ernie.
Just to throw cold water on it, you're asking the applicant now to go back to the Board of Selectmen. If you're gonna do anything, I don't know if it's appropriate to continue, because you're asking the applicant to go back to the Board of Selectmen to make a modification to his approval of his license. As Sarah had mentioned earlier, that was worked out with I understand your point there, but the Board of Selectmen asked for those certain conditions in order for him to get his approval for his license. So now you're asking him to go back to the Board of Selectmen to see if the Board of Selectmen will change their perspective on that.
Right. We are.
to meet ours
I get
in
that.
order for him to get his license. So I would
Would it,
maybe not vote tonight on a change until the applicant goes back to the Board of Selectmen and see if they are willing to modify their approval
okay,
to accommodate your wishes.
okay, and do we, do that by a continuance? So somebody's gotta make that motion to continue it.
But the applicant has to be willing to do that.
Is the applicant willing to do that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Yes, he is. Okay, so somebody needs to make a motion to continue the hearing.
And a point of clarification, we do have the license. So the license was issued with that stipulation. The Board of Selectmen did not ask for a revised plan, they just said that's the condition of
Okay,
the
so
license.
you have to go, but they said you can have the license, but you gotta do these things.
Correct.
So, again, we'll continue, check with the Board of Selectmen,
Yes, ma'am.
and say the planning board gets to do site plan review. And it's not a power move, I just want it to look prettier. So,
I wouldn't, Madam Chairman, I wouldn't say it that way.
okay,
I would go back to the Board of Selectmen with the option that the planning board was considering maybe changing from a fence to arborvitae's, accomplishes the same thing. I don't think you want to go into the Board of Selectmen's meeting, you know,
Got it, you're right.
quoting it quite the way you put it.
That's why we have you, Ernie. Perfect.
Thank you.
Actually, I just wanted you to clarify, for my benefit or maybe many people in the room, what exactly are you looking for plantings on that side? Like a wall of arborvitae's that completely screens?
Yeah.
So you can't, because
About every 3 feet, so they grow
They
together.
grow
on that
together.
screen.
No, the normal planting is 6 feet to let them grow.
to let them grow.
Right, because if you put them at 3 feet, they're gonna choke up when they start to
So I think the
mature.
desired effect is to be in the MRF's parking lot and not see a bunch of cars.
Well, it would be on our property, down the property line.
No, I know that, but I'm saying the desired
But-
effect is that you're not seeing the cars that are stored in
Correct,
the
it'll
parking lot.
create a screen wall, and you can maintain the height.
Okay.
Motion to continue.
You okay with that? So you're making the motion to continue? And Ernie, you're right. Write that down. Nick.
The Board of Selectmen's next meeting is September 9th, so I would recommend that continuing this to September 22nd would be the first available date that the planning board could discuss it after an open selectmen's meeting.
And the applicant is okay with that?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to continue till September 22nd, 7 PM.
Second.
All in favor? We have the roll call. Ernie? Ernie, in favor of
Yes.
continuing?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And the chair says yes, we're continued. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay.
Good job.
692, okay. 692, 702 Washington Street, site plan review for a sign. Hello,
Hi, how are you?
welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
Just state your name and tell us what you're here for, please.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Heather Dutko, 27 Old Meeting House Road in Auburn, Mass., and I work with Philadelphia Sign Company on this sign installation. As you'll see from your packet, the sign, it's a new tenant on Washington Street, Allstate. They're taking the tenant space between Modern Eyes and Emerald City Plants in Central Business Zone. That's why we're here before the board for the sign approval. They're proposing a non-illuminated 19-square-foot sign on their sign band above the front entrance, and they'll be fabricated individual letters, flush mounted to the building.
Any goosenecks?
No,
Okay. And you You're 2 feet by 9, so you meet the dimensional requirements.
We do, 30 square feet is allowed, we're proposing 19.
And it's the standard Allstate logo?
Logo, yes.
Okay. Alrighty. And just because I'm nosy, how many people will be working there?
I don't know, I would suspect,
You can't hear us? Okay, sorry.
I don't know
How many
it is.
people will be working
I
there?
would suspect 3, 2, 3.
Okay,
It's a small office. It's one agent,
okay. Alrighty,
but most of those offices are pretty small.
and this is your first location in town,
I believe so,
okay?
yeah. I haven't done another sign for them in town for Allstate, so,
All right, are they here?
no.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board? Ernie? Ernie? Where is he?
No,
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So move to approve.
Joe moves to approve,
Second.
second by Brian. All in favor, roll call. Ernie?
yes,
Brian?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And the chair says yes. Tell them welcome to Norwood.
Thank you.
And please don't have their employees park on Washington
I'll
Street.
tell them that. And I'm glad everybody wasn't here for the sign. I got nervous.
Okay. I'll stay. All right, we did that one. So, the next up is 55 Lennox Street, special permit, and the clerk is going to read into the, because we reopened the hearing.
All right, notice is hereby given that by vote of the planning board on 7/28/25, the planning board of the town of Norwood will reopen a public hearing on August 25th, 2025 at 7 p.m. regarding property located at 55 Lennox, map 4, block 2A, lots 2 and 4, Norwood, Mass. 02062, in the Central Business Zoning District and MBTA Communities Multifamily Overlay District, Norwood Depot. The hearing was originally opened on 6/30/25 and closed on 7/14/25. The hearing will be held at the Norwood Senior Center, 275 Prospect Street, Norwood, Mass. 02062. It will also be available for remote participation via Google Meet. This application requests a special permit pursuant to section 9.5.6.b, bonuses, stormwater and heat island bonus of the Norwood zoning bylaw for 1 story of additional building height in exchange for enhanced storage and treatment of stormwater runoff and heat mitigation. The board will also conduct site plan review pursuant to section 10.5 for redevelopment of the property for multifamily housing with associated landscaping and parking area improvements. Any zoning relief that may be required in adherence to the Norwood zoning bylaw shall be considered by the board. Interested persons are encouraged to attend the hearing and make their views known to the board. Written materials from the public may be submitted to the board by emailing comdev@norwoodmass.gov no later than noon on the 3rd business day before the hearing. Plans are on file with this application in the office of the planning board and may be requested by emailing comdev@norwoodmass.gov or by calling 781-762-1240 Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Robert. Okay, we have, the applicant is going to present, and Mr. Shelby, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I appreciate the opportunity to address the board again. Nothing makes me happier than coming here on a Monday night. It's the most fun
Oh, wait a
time.
minute, they can't hear you. He's a tall drink of water. There you go.
Here we go. Is that better?
That better?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this is our, I think, 4th meeting, and we all know I want to address the issue with parking. It's a concern I don't have, but the board seemed extremely worried about it, and the public did as well. So I went out and was able to address this. Even though the bylaw is intentionally designed for a transit-oriented development, which means less parking for a multitude of reasons, public health, less cars on the road, less congestion, I still want to take some of the advice of the board and go out and try to find off-site parking. In a couple of the meetings, the board made the suggestion that off-site parking would possibly, potentially help alleviate the lack, therefore, perceived lack, therefore, their parking on the site. So with that being said, I reached out to all the neighbors and I was able to secure a lease for 15 additional parking spots at 157 Central Street. This now increases the parking spots from 68 total on-site spots with the addition of 15 to 83. That brings the parking ratio from 0.69 to 0.87, a significant jump from before. My opinion is that we have done what we could to alleviate this, and I hope the public and the board feels this as well. So I would like to open it up to the board, ask any questions regarding those parking spots.
Questions? Mr. Sheehan?
I know that when you first came in, we sent you back with some instructions to take a look at the parking, and you did come back with some changes. At that time, you had 67 spots, and you said that when you, if you had people coming, if there were no more spots, that you would not rent to anyone. You would not be able to allow them to have cars. Now it's up to 83. Is that number, I assume that's changing to 83?
Joe, just speak up.
Yes, 83 spots total now.
And you'll still have that same policy for the rest of the units that you're going to be renting out?
Yes, I will. I cannot offer a spot I don't have. You are correct.
And just to refresh, those who do get parking spots would be paying for those a
That's
little bit more than every month.
Correct, they'll rent that spot as well.
Over in that spot as well, okay. I do note that this is a little different than most of the developments we've had. As far as the makeup, 2/3 of these are single bedroom units, and the rest, the other third is 2-bedroom units. And that's quite a hefty number of single units compared to what we've seen before us in the past. And I do note that you're on the train line. I've been taking it for many years myself. And I do know that living close by is a big plus. Nevertheless, do you think having the single units are more likely to, you're more likely to have people who will not be needing cars in those particular units versus the 2-bedroom units?
It could be likely. A lot of young professionals that will use those single units are of the type that they take the train to the city, prefer bicycling to be healthier, use the local small businesses, use the local shopping in the area. So the trends do suggest that younger professionals, their car ownership by generation is a lot less with the younger generation than it is now. And overall, it's becoming less just due to the costs of cars.
That's, in my own office, there's the support staff. There were 4 young folks who are in their 20s, 24 to 28, at roughly that age. And I was just asking them if they had cars, just because I was interested to see how different they are from probably everyone in this room, almost everyone in this room. And none of them have cars. They're all college educated. They're probably still paying for their college loans and whatnot. But they do not have cars. They use their phones to summon a car, and they use it to order food, and they're actually pretty happy. Not pay insurance and do all that. So they're quite different from the rest of us, I think, who out here we drive a lot. And I'm just thinking along those lines that if you have just those 1-bedroom units, that they would be more likely not to need cars.
That is correct, and just like from a pro forma standpoint, we wouldn't build this building if we thought that not having enough spots for each unit would be a deterrent to a future tenant. Because then at that point, the units become unmarketable and they would sit. So we're very confident that we will attract tenants with what we have to offer.
Okay. I noticed that they had been talking about using the public lot. I would assume they would be using the Luster lot first before they would be going there.
We would encourage that, but I can't control a Norwood resident from applying for parking anywhere. Any Norwood resident can apply for a parking permit, so it's tough for me to control that, but we're gonna encourage the lot on Central Street first.
Okay. Thank you.
I think I might have been in the minority on the board during the early part of this meeting where I actually thought that, I mean, clearly you're putting your money where your mouth is and you were willing to take this project on with a limited parking. And I think the trends that Joe bring up are real, and some of the proponents of this project early on that spoke about, you know, the young professionals who don't have cars and want cars, it's interesting. I do believe that you found a viable solution. There's a parking lot that's empty on the weekend, well, it's I guess Sundays, right? Luster's open on Saturday. No?
I don't think so, no.
No, well, either way, it's gonna be weekend and overnight parking, right?
It's open. Saturday.
So, to me, it seems like a viable solution. You have all 15 spots are in that lot,
Correct.
and is there a delineated period of time, do we know the hours in which your tenants would be able to park in the lot?
Yeah, after work when they go home, I think they close at 5:30 or 6, right around there, and then they're open in the morning when the tenants are going to work.
Okay.
I just want to are they?
Just one question on that. Would they be having stickers kind of to say
Oh,
you
yeah.
can park here?
Yes. So like,
Is there a duration? Do you have the, not to get into too much of the nuts and bolts, but do you have a lease for all the spots now, or is it one at a time as needed?
So I talked to him and got it in writing where once I'm developed, because it's tough to have a start date, because the start date you don't know the exact date. But the owner is willing to do a 2-year lease with me upon the start date,
Okay.
and we can renew it whenever we need
I
it.
was about to ask about duration. All right, I have nothing further, thank you.
Rob?
Glad to see you found parking elsewhere. I was concerned about that. I had hoped for maybe playing around with affordability numbers, and someone had thrown the idea out that along with being younger professionals, people that wouldn't be driving their own cars, taking more public transport, if we could get more affordable units in there, that would almost enhance the number of people that are less likely to have a car. But seeing that we found parking elsewhere in 15 spaces, and also I think we got a letter from Tony Mizuko saying that there were available spots in the municipal lot. They do have some sort of program available for getting passes for people downtown. I know there are a lot of other apartments downtown also that don't have parking out front or out back. They've been there for quite a while. So I didn't have any specific questions if anyone else wants to.
Ernie?
Hi, thank you, Madam Chairman. Just clear something up for me, John. You have, like you had just stated, any resident in the town can apply for a municipal parking lot. But just clear something up that I've heard people saying, that the town is, selling itself. You have no deal with the town for any spots, correct?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, that being said, and that's cleared up, I do still have some reservations, and I'm gonna tell you why. I am not in favor, I appreciate the fact that you've gotten the Luster Cleaner area to park. I have just a problem with remote parking either on private property or on a public lot. I don't approve of any of it when it's an overnight parking. I prefer to have a spot for somebody. So if you have somebody that doesn't work on a Tuesday and he works weekends and he's off on Tuesday and Wednesday, he's got to get out now and move his car. Obviously, Luster Cleaners is a business to run and they need their spots. So this person has to go now and move his car and find another place to park for the day because he's not working that day. Or snow removal. That lot is going to have to be plowed at night for his business to operate the next day. What do we do there? I mean, I just have a lot of issues. It's not so much your particular project. It's the whole, in general, this overnight remote parking. I prefer to have spots allocated for somebody. I don't mind the remoteness, but I'd like them to have a spot for the whole time, and I know that's impossible on either the town lot or on this lot. So I still have some reservations on the parking, John, unfortunately. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. Did we address visitor parking and in the U-shape? Are you including those in your count?
No, there's a drop-off parking, meaning like for ride shares and Uber Eats, deliveries.
Deliveries?
There's no visitor parking on site, just.
So all the spots in the U are going to be leased to tenants?
Correct.
And how many are going to be available for ride share, Uber?
There's a section, a whole loading zone for that, so it's bigger than one spot, it's an area to turn around, and that's where the delivery companies will drive, so Amazon, FedEx.
Is that 2 spots? Is that 3?
Spot and a half, it's probably 14 feet.
14 feet, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, I am going to open it up. Anybody else on the board? Derek?
Sure.
Okay, hold on, and then I'm going to open it up to the public.
Yeah, hi. I actually like this project. I think it looks really good. I think it's a good fit for the location. I don't really have an issue with the parking. I think it's really overblown. I think it's really generational. You're taking a huge risk to don't have parking spaces. I think it's a huge hassle to. It's a long walk from your site to Luster's Cleaners, to even to the center of town for parking. So having that as an option, that's gonna be deterrent. All right, where is it? How safe is it gonna be? What's gonna happen? But that's a risk. All right. Again, I like this project. I see nothing wrong with it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to take the audience questions. I'll take, please just stand up and state your name and address, and I'd love you to come to the podium.
They have to.
Oh, you have to come to the podium, sorry. Okay. This young lady had her hand up before you. I'll take you next.
My name is Elizabeth Totaro. I live at 60 Lennox Street, and I have no problem with this development, but I don't understand why you can't adjust the number of living spaces to the amount of parking that you have available.
Okay, you have to go through me and I have to
In
ask
other
him what's
words,
in total.
why don't you just adjust the number of units to the number of parking spaces that are available so that that piece of property can support that number of people?
John, do you want to answer that? You don't have to, but
So everyone can hear.
Unfortunately, what happens is when you lower the amount of units, the project doesn't, what they call pencil out, so it doesn't make sense financially anymore.
Could you
And,
speak up a little, please?
sure, when you lower the amount of units, the project doesn't pencil out. So at that point, the project does not make financial sense, which means it wouldn't pass redevelopment, it wouldn't meet a bank's metrics for a loan, it wouldn't meet profitability, and it wouldn't meet any sort of metric, so it would stay a dilapidated old building, unfortunately. That's the main reason for it.
So the bottom line is that that property is not big enough for that many units.
No, it's not that it's not big enough, it just needs the fifth story to make it pencil out.
I don't have a problem with the extra story.
I appreciate that.
I don't have a problem at all. I just have a problem with the parking because as it stands now, when I leave where I live there. You know, I mean, I understand that you won't be actually living there. Will you live in the area?
Oh, yeah, I live
You live on Lennox Street?
No, no.
No, that's, okay, you need to speak up a little bit, we're
Oh,
getting
sorry.
you from the back.
I live on Lennox Street.
Okay.
I live at 60 Lennox Street, so it's directly across the street. And I'd love to see that piece of property
Okay.
replaced with
Great.
something, which I looked at the plans, and your building is attractive and sure beats what's there now.
Okay, great, thank you. All set?
No, I
Oh.
have a couple other things I'd like
Okay.
to say. So when I leave my property, as it is, when I ride up to Lennox Street when I ride up Lennox Street to Railroad, for the on-street parking blocks, the oncoming traffic, I can't even use Lennox Street anymore. I have to go up another side street because I can't get off onto Railroad Avenue without pulling way into the middle of the intersection. And there's so many pedestrians around there that I know there'll be on-street parking where people they don't want to have to walk from the center. And the municipal parking lot is for us to park and use the businesses in the center, not for residents.
Well, they are residents if they live in town.
Well, not for residents to park overnight.
Well, that's the way they structured it, so.
Well,
More
I've said my
questions?
piece, and
Okay.
that's how I feel about it, but, I mean, those of us that live there are the ones that are gonna have to deal with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Cheryl, this young lady with matching hair is next.
Hi, Cheryl Doyle, 12 Sumner Street. Bear with me, okay? So, since you guys continue to hear, and it gave me tons of times to do some research, if we start off on that 5th floor, it says because if they meet stormwater and the heat effect, State of Massachusetts has a stormwater code that they have to meet anyways, regardless if that 5th floor is there, they still have to meet Massachusetts general bylaw, regardless. And then on the roof, for the heat effect, nobody does black rubber roofs anymore. They're all white. You know why? Once again, we have an energy code in the state of Massachusetts that everybody has to go by. My boss just re-roofed 5 commercial buildings. Couldn't use black rubber, it had to be white. We also have a stretch code in the town of Norwood, which is our energy code, which was passed back in, I think, 2018 at town meeting. So I don't even think that 5th floor should have been approved. Okay, so that's off the table. Talking on the parking. So he's using all the parking in the front as part of his calculations. He's required to have 3 handicapped spots. That can't be part of the calculations for assignment for people to pay, because that means he's banking his money on having 3 cars that are registered to handicapped people in that building. Also, he has no visitor parking, which puts them out on the street, or it puts them in other people's business lots or the other apartment complexes. You guys don't even really have to approve of this for the MBTA because you've already approved 2 of them. One of them's further down on Lenox, and then the other one's on East Hoyle Street. And then you guys also approved of an apartment complex on Washington Street across from Extra Space. Then the bank on Washington Street had done it. Well, then it might have been zoning. But there's all these apartments that are sitting in queue to be built. And when people keep going affordable, 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 what is affordable? If you go by the medium income, we're off of Boston. When you're renting or even buying a house, you don't use more than 30% of your income to go towards your housing. So that means there's a lot of young people, whether it's a fireman starting out or a school teacher starting out or a nurse starting out or a young person coming out of college, they cannot afford an apartment in our town. I counted 20 large apartment complexes. I didn't even go down to the smaller ones. They all have availability in their complexes. That's not even counting the double-deckers or the triple-deckers. We have more apartments available in our town than we do housing. What our problem is the affordability of home ownership in this town. That's what we should be looking at. That's where we should be courting developers to be able to have affordable home ownership, not apartments. And I'm sorry, I have a big problem with this this application. I didn't have a problem with the East Hoyle one. Enough parking, everything, he met everything they needed to meet. This one, 5 stories, that's the biggest height in that area. To me, it's I wouldn't want to live on that street, not looking at it. Oh, and to FYI, FedEx, UPS, and all them, they can't back up. From a street, they can't back up. So they're gonna load and unload on the street, because if you watch them, FedEx always does left-hand turns. Always left-hand turns.
Are you saying they can't back up because they don't know how, or they're not allowed
No,
to?
because they're not allowed to, because
Why?
it's the regulation of the companies. That's why they drive certain routes a certain way.
Okay.
Because they're guided by regulations. So I hope you guys actually take a good look at this. Like, Mass General Law dictates a lot of the heat effects, stormwater, and everything else. And I know he has the underwater chambers, but during our little flash storms that we get all the time, those underwater chambers cannot handle that amount of money. I mean, that amount of water.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
thank you.
that.
All right, guys, we're putting in the speaking time if we'd like. I'll go to Sue, and then that young man with the beard is next, okay? Name and address, please, madam?
Susan Lewis, the owner of the Norwood Theater. 109 Central Street, owner of the Norwood Theater. I sympathize with your parking issue, but I want to just explain what it's like to have a business downtown. We share that parking lot behind the theater. Many businesses do, restaurants, the doctor's offices, dentist's offices, we all share. And I'm happy that the Central Street is closed for almost 6 months of the year. We're fine with that. I love the green in the front, but that limits us. And I just worry that, number one, they'll be parking overnight. I don't know how they'll keep it clean during the snowstorms. I have children that are, young adults, and depending on where they live, I've had them sell their cars and buy new cars and whatever. And I just don't think Norwood is an area where you can go without a car, especially for young parents that have young children. You need your car seat, you need your car. So I think banking on those being rented to people that don't have children or don't need cars or taking a chance. But my big problem is the parking issue. I can't speak on water drainage or any of that, but I'm concerned. I mean, there are times when the high school had their prom that we almost had people not use their tickets. because they couldn't find parking anywhere. I mean, and they know to drive everywhere. They know about the lot behind Washington Street and street parking and wherever it's legal. But there are times that parking lot is important, and it's not that large. And I just want to make that known that I do see a problem with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Young man. I got this young man here is coming up.
Oh.
That one's next, and then you're next. Because he's been waving at me for the last...
Sorry, didn't know if you could see me.
No, I can see him. That's okay. No, that gentleman's waving also. Name and address, please, and speak into the mic so everybody can hear you.
Hello, I am Alex De Silva, and can people hear me okay? Fine. All right, perfect. Live at 16 Prescott Road, and because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'd like to come out in favor of this project. So I've lived in Norwood all my life, since I was 1 year old, 34 right now. And I do understand people's concerns with affordability, but I will say that when housing is not built, including rental housing, that doesn't mean people aren't going to try to stop moving here. That means people will bid up on the existing housing. I go on Zillow right now, I see even studio apartments going for $1,800 at the lowest. I live with my parents right now. I make $62,000 a year, I have a good job, but there is nothing here that is affordable for rental, and I'd love to stay here, love the community, but without more housing to take that pressure off of the existing housing stock, prices are just going to keep going up. People want to live here. It's a great community, and I understand that, but at the same time, we can't try to freeze a town in amber and then expect the problem to go away. And as for the parking issue, I do think having the fewer parking spaces in apartments is a good idea, because I can tell you from experience, a lot of people my generation and younger don't have cars.
I was going to say, you're our demographic. Do you have a car?
I do personally, but my sister, who is turning 31 in a couple of weeks, just got her car this year. So there are many people who are...
Remember, we're going to be respectful.
Oh, no, we're right now.
I know.
She is turning 31 in a couple of weeks. So for her entire 20s, she did not have a car. And, there's a lot of other people who live car-free. And it's a good location for that. It's right by the bus line, by the Norwood Depot station, Norwood Central Station's a short walk, and you're right in the middle, not the middle, but almost in the middle of downtown. You can walk down to Shaw's, any of the small businesses there, pretty easily live, so.
Okay, we hear you, and we appreciate your input. That young man back there is next, and then you are here, red shirt, you're next, after this young man coming up here.
Everybody's so young.
I know.
Are you gonna get him to speak?
How you doing, good people of the board? My name is Brett Bilodeau. I'm a resident at 27 West Street in Norwood.
Hold on, can you speak up just a little bit?
I'm sorry, can anybody hear me back there?
Yeah, just hold it closer, I think closer to your mouth, yeah.
Is that better? Like I said, my name is Brett Bilodeau. I'm a resident at 27 West Street in Norwood. I actually will be moving soon to another part of Norwood, because I'm one of those guys that stays in Norwood. When he gets here or leaves, he always comes back. But I am totally in favor of this project. I love that for young professionals. They have the ability to come in town and not have to have a vehicle, and they can navigate and get around the city and stuff without having the burden of a car, without having the burden of insurance, because it's been sky high lately and it's going through the roof. Like my insurance, I know, has doubled in the last year. It's been crazy. So that's a huge thing. But another thing I noticed, is when it comes down to the parking, it's really, when it comes down to it, it's going to be the landlord's, ability. He's going to take the hit in the long run. If people don't want the spots and people need a place to get spots, he's going to have to come up with it. It's not going to be on the burden of Norwood to figure that out for them and stuff like that. He would have to come up with a different issue to come comply with that, I think, but I think that it would be done, in a manner that would be well done. I was actually going to have my girlfriend here with me tonight too, because she was She was with me on everything. Yeah, she wrote a little something. I was trying to find.
Mike, a little closer to your mouth, please.
Sorry about that. I'm terrible with these things.
Doing good.
Another thing, there's like, I think the more housing in Norwood, the better it's going to be in the long run for getting people into affordable housing. Like there might be some houses on the market, there might be some apartments for rent, but I think it's going to pose more of kind of like an ability for people to kind of search around, and I think prices are going to start dropping a little bit if we have more availability for people and stuff like that, you know, in the long run. You know, I don't think that necessarily it's going to go up, because I mean, if there's stuff still in the market, obviously stuff's starting to come down a little bit. So hopefully the more available they're made, you know, the better it will be for people in the long run, and affordable housing being included with that is a great thing as well. So kind of killing two birds with one stone with that whole ordeal. So that's a good part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that area too, Norwood Tire's been looking like just such a rundown building for so long that to see a new development there, we already have high rises all the way around there. So you know, it's another building on top of it, and you know, I think it's just professionals to come in town, and you know, I think young professionals are going to be the type of people that come to these buildings and you know, and start off and get their feet under.
All right, well, thank you. We appreciate your input.
Thanks.
I told the gentleman in the red shirt next, and then
Yeah.
name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Steve Kenichi from 3 Harrow Road. A lot of the other speakers have been making very good points about the stormwater and a lot of other issues, the white roof, and parking is the main one for me. We passed the 3A Act just 2 years ago, and a big part of that was parking. We're supposed to have, I mean, that's our law. We passed that, and by an overwhelming majority at town meeting, that you had to have 1.1 parking spots per apartment. Now, there's a lot of arbitrary opinions about who has cars or not, but that has nothing to do with our zoning laws. We have a series of things in the zoning laws that people can apply for in order to get a waiver. That's not one of them. The young people that may want to move to Norwood that don't have a car, they don't have to have a car. They can still move there. I don't think that this landlord is going to force them to have a car. It's just that he wants to build a building, maximize his profit, and just not have enough cars to go around. And I don't see why the Norwood businesses and the Norwood residents that use central parking and use all the other places in town available to them. We've got a lot of stores, we've got a lot of businesses, and we don't have very much parking. And I don't see why this should be taken away from the people in Norwood for a few really concessions that they need to make anyway, so it's really not giving us anything. Now, we don't have to do this. We've got the discretionary ability to either approve or deny this, and I just don't think that an apartment with no parking or not enough parking belongs in Norwood. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Steve Esco, 14 Endicott Street. I'd just like to mention that the lease for Luster Cleaners is not a solution to the problem. 2 years from now, maybe by the time the building gets put together and ready to have people live in there, Luster Cleaners could say, I'm selling my property. What happens next? The lease is gone. So, really, where does this resolve the problem of parking? Thank you.
Thank you. You won't talk to me if I don't call him next, so you're next.
Jerry Shea, District Roosevelt Ave,
I'm sorry, what's your address again?
192 Roosevelt.
Thank you.
Parking has been a premium in this town since I can remember. there's not enough parking uptown at all for people to go to stores. What are you gonna do if one of these apartments have a party? Where are the people gonna park? On the street. Anyone who votes for this in the affirmative, please, give out your telephone number so we can call you. Okay? Because we can't get out of our driveways. We can't get out away from, saying that people are not gonna have cars. The gentleman came up in favor of this motion, yet he has a car. All right? His sister got a car. All right? What are we doing here? If you don't have enough parking spots, don't build a building. That's the way it's been here all the way. You come down to Roosevelt Ave during the summer baseballs, and we're on the street, parked, can't get out of our driveways. Now they're down there cheerleading, can't get out of the driveways. And there's big signs from the police department, no parking during sporting events. But they still come. Okay, so just leave your telephone number out here so we can call you, and you can go down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shea. I'm gonna get yelled at if you keep clapping, okay? The boss is gonna yell at me over here.
Good evening. My name is Helen Sassad, a lifelong resident of Norwood, and I live at 149 Lincoln Street. I'm here tonight to respectfully ask the planning board to approve the proposed project at 55 Lenox Street. I've been in the real estate business for many years and have spoken to many older homeowners in recent times. They no longer want to worry about home repairs, snow removal, and lawn care. They crave simplicity and convenience. This area on Lenox Street is a prime spot. They can easily walk to the essentials like supermarkets, restaurants, shops, pharmacy, post office, and the town common. This is a huge draw for seniors, not just the young folk, but for seniors who want independence without the hassle of driving. And it's ideal for those looking to downsize without feeling isolated. It's the perfect bridge between home ownership and assisted living. Now, back to the young crowd. I understand that parking is a concern for some, but we need to recognize that car ownership is changing, especially among the younger generations, as we've heard. More and more people are choosing to live without a car, relying instead on rideshare, car share services, biking, or public transportation. This shift isn't just a trend, it's happening, and it benefits the environment, reduces traffic, and aligns with the walkable, sustainable future many communities are striving for. It's also important to note that if a prospective tenant owns a car and there are no parking spaces available, they will simply choose to live elsewhere. That's a choice they'll make. It's not a burden for the rest of the community to have to carry. Furthermore, our zoning bylaws specifically allow the planning board to grant a waiver for parking in appropriate situations, and this project is exactly the type of thoughtful, well-located development that justifies such a waiver. It replaces a deteriorating, outdated structure with a modern building that fits the neighborhood and contributes to Norwood's long-term growth. I urge the planning board to look towards the future and vote in favor of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think you're next, and then you're, this segment, yes. Sorry. And then somebody back there was next.
Hi, Pat Ronan, 35 Birch Road. Thanks for having this hearing tonight. I think this is a great project.
Can you hold yeah, hold the mic up to your mouth, please.
Is this better? Yeah. All right. I think this is a great project. I think this is a real opportunity for the plant.
Please.
What?
It's Pat Ronan, 35 Birch Road.
Okay, sorry.
So this is a great project, and I think it's a really great opportunity for the planning board, to plan for the present and future of Norwood. And I think I think what we're talking about in terms of parking spots is really valuable, our experience, our family members' experiences, but like part of the role of the planning board is to look at the trends and look at the numbers, because this building will be here in 20 years, in 30 years. I can't tell you how many times I'm walking down the street and I see a gigantic, beautiful flat screen TV laying on the side of the road, and no one will take it. Because those people bought those TVs thinking this is great, and guess what? Within 10, 20 years, people had phones. So what I'm saying is, if we put way too many parking spaces in, and like the last speaker who spoke about trends with ride sharing and self-driving cars, and younger people having less cars, and more older people renting, in 20 or 30 years, we're going to find ourselves with a lot of parking spots that nobody wants. So I think part of...
That's his opinion. He's allowed his opinion.
The planning board, I think, has an opportunity here to approve a project that's good for Norwood's future. And, you know, like has been stated already, that the studies have shown that younger generations are far less likely to value owning a car.
Whoever's talking in the back there, could you keep it down, please? We're picking it up here. He's got the floor.
Yeah, that may seem silly. I know that not owning a car may seem silly, but that's the fact. And so I think it's really not only an opportunity, but like, you know, the job of the planning board to not just look at, you know, what the conditions are right now or what they were in the past, because frankly none of us may be in the market for any of these units. Maybe the one gentleman who spoke earlier would be in the market for it, but all of us to point and say we have cars is great, but that doesn't really answer the question, is there a market for these units? And I would say absolutely there is, so I recommend you approve.
Okay, thank you. The gentleman with the glasses, and then he's been waving at me, and the lady with the red glasses will be next, and then way in the back will be after the lady with the red glasses. I'm working on you.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Golden. I'm on 7 William Street. I don't know if any of you know where William Street is, but it comes right off of Lennox Street, which is now conveniently used as parking for the T-Lot at the depot. And it's also used for when the condominiums have a party. There's no extra parking for the people. So they park around William Street. Now William Street's an old street, very small, thin street. And if one car is on the street, you're not getting by with a truck or an ambulance or anything like that. They won't fit, just the size of the street. So for him to be coming in and saying that there's, you know, overflow parking, the overflow parking, if someone's having a party, is gonna go, I'm just gonna pull down the street. I mean, that could be to the detriment of someone's life. Someone has a heart attack and the ambulance can't get down the street because there's two cars on each side. The ambulance isn't fitting through there. I mean, I think you have to err on the side of safety. That's one of the reasons I came. And the other reason I'm coming is the height. The height, I live on William Street. I'll be getting looked down upon from these apartments. I lose all my privacy to my backyard from these 5th floor. So I just hope you vote this one down. I like the project, I like the idea. I just think it's too big and it's just not enough parking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That young man right there, and, yep. You're next after that, yes, you.
My name is Robert Patterson.
You gotta come up here, sorry, and take the mic, please, and hold it to your mouth. Everybody's dying to hear what you have to say.
I'm sure they are. My name is Robert Patterson. I live at 10 William Street, across the street from the gentleman that just spoke. I have issues about the number of people that are going to be occupying your building, not the number of apartments. I estimate that for every 2-bedroom apartment, you're going to have 2 people. So you're looking at 125 or 130 people in your building. I don't believe 67 spots for parking is enough for 130 people. I'm sorry, but I just think your planning is way off.
Okay, thank you. And next. You were next. Yes, you.
My name is Maria, and I have a building on 125 Central Street, and then I have, in there is a dentist, it's a pizza place, it's lawyer, and if you don't have the parking, how are they gonna do the business?
Okay.
You understand?
Maria, what's your last name?
Yeah.
Maria, what's your last name? She said.
Ruggeri, Maria Ruggeri.
Okay, would you mind repeating that? I'm sorry.
Okay. I have a building on 125 Central Street.
Yeah.
And in there is a dentist, pizza place, lawyer. If we don't have a parking space, how they do the business in there? We're gonna close?
Okay.
We need a parking space.
Okay. Thank you. One of our board members had it, so that I'm being fair, if you line up, and then I wouldn't be missing people. So how about if you want to have mic space, you line up, and then I'm not just forgetting who had their hand up first. How's that? Then you get to show off your outfit. Okay. We're jumping in there. Then the whole room stands up, yes.
Hi, I'm Craig Ricky, 585 Naponton Street, town meeting member, District 8. With 67 parking spaces, that's for 60 units. He's asking for 96. By the bylaws, he'd have to have 105 spaces, not 67. 67 or 96 units that he's proposing is 60% more than the parking spaces to 60%, or the number 60 rather. So I think that's outrageous. I think it sets a terrible precedent that you will also have to grant every single developer following this. And the MBTA law authorized 2,400 units in Norwood. Doesn't mean they're going to be built, but that's the potential. Then the state allowed ADUs after that. So there's going to be a lot of building in Norwood in the next 10 years. And if you don't grant that additional again, this is over 60% of the requirement. Are you prepared to give every developer 60% more?
I'm just going to interrupt, which I am trying not to do because I know everybody wants to speak and you are going to get to speak. Because you say yes on one. Mr. Riley taught me this 25 years ago when I was on the zoning board. Every case we have to take separate. So I get what you're saying, but every case, because this guy did it doesn't mean this guy did it. That used to be my argument. Mr. Riley beat me over the head with that. We have to take every case. So go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but you're setting the precedent, and it's not just
And every case is
it's
separate.
not just 5% or 10% over. You're 60% over what town meeting approved. That's ridiculous.
All right.
It's not even close.
I completely understand, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for your comments, and this is working out. Is this working out now? Good job, Bill. Please, and just keep it close to your mouth, because we got a lot of people back there.
Mike Leach, 22 Clark Street. I'll try to make this quick. Let me first start by saying that I do think it looks like a nice building. It's definitely an improvement over the dilapidated warehouse that's there, so that's good. I think 5 stories is a bit way too much, however. And as someone who actually, his entire family walks this very area almost daily, I have some concerns about allowing exception to the number of parking spaces that should be provided. One of them is that already, in my opinion, that it's a bit of a stretch goal, right? From the MBTA, they're allowing you to reduce it to 1.1 spaces per unit. Why are we going to then bend over backwards to exceed that value. It's already a stretch goal. It's already difficult to achieve, all right? If you don't have the funds to build the property with the appropriate number of units or spaces, you simply don't build it. And if someone doesn't have the money to build in that spot, the next person will. I'm fine with waiting for that. I've gotten hit almost twice in the area just walking because people park on top of the sidewalks. I've complained about this several times. Nothing seems to ever be done about it. So I don't see how this is going to actually improve the situation at all. All right? Just my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Tony Esco, 14 Endicott Street. Some of the previous speakers have mentioned some of the concerns I have. One is about future developments and what it will mean to future proposals who will ask for less parking than is available on their site. I don't know if this is precedent setting that a project does not have all its parking on its own property. I'm not comfortable with leasing somewhere else for a piece of property that doesn't have enough spaces. Also, in reading the plans, there's not enough room to navigate on the parking surface that is already there when it snows. And so all these cars have to go out in the street, and the snow has to be removed by truck. That's what I read in the plan. It's a very, very tight situation. It's a beautiful building, but it's too tight for the parking. I live on Endicott Street. The top of the street has a 24-unit condominium, a garden style. It was an apartment to condo conversion. The end of my street has the newer ones called Endicott Woods. Both of those condo residents park across the street from my house. We've called the cops numerous times. That's why I asked for 2-hour parking signs in front of the pavilion. And they don't have enough parking, and it's guest parking too. Not only does this apartment not have enough for its own tenants, it doesn't have any room for guests. It hardly has room for emergency vehicles or trucks. And company, doesn't anybody ever have a football party or something? That's what happens on my street. The cars are all over the place. And then what happens in winter? All these cars parking in the street somewhere else. I don't get it. Also, if there's trouble, it was my understanding there isn't a manager on site in this situation, I don't know. Who's going to handle problems? I think it's facetious to call you, as previous speakers spoke. I mean, who's going to mitigate the parking issue? And there will be some. People might temporarily not have a car. My daughter for 1 year didn't have a car when she moved back home to Cambridge when her husband, they worked there. But the reason they could do that is because they borrowed our car. That's how they got through that. And then they bought a car. But, they navigate for a while. But when you come home with groceries or you have a child, that gets old. And walking to Lester Cleaners, I think that is, I commend the project proponent for trying to solve his problem. But this is New England. We don't have good weather all year round. It's not going to be fun walking to your car over there. So the parking and the snow removal, the overlapping into the business districts, it's very tight. We're a very dense town. Our streets are close together with a lot of non-conforming houses. We're all very close together. We don't have room for cars to be parking on all these other streets. And I am concerned about future developers thinking this is okay for them to do in the future as well. And we just passed this bylaw, as someone said, 2 years ago. So I don't see why our regulations should be so out of date. And somebody better tell Norwich Auto Mile that the future is not going to include them, because they don't know it yet.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patty Anzalone. I live at 27 Irving Street. I agree with mostly everything that someone said about the parking. The main concern is we have a parking ban in the winter. So where are they going to put their cars? People are going to need to have visitors, okay? The kids now that are taking the train, they're not going to have any friends that drive to visit them. Where are they going to put their cars? What if Lester's Cleaners, like the man said, closes and somebody else takes over there, they're not gonna want people parking in their parking lot. As far as behind the theater, that's a community parking lot. What about the businesses? Where are they gonna go? The theater has 700 seats. At $53 a ticket, people can't find a parking spot. I work there, I'm a volunteer. I have to get a ride at 6:15 to be to work on time because there's never any parking spots. And I get there at 6:15 for a 7:30 show. And that parking lot in the back is full. The street is full. What are we gonna do with our customers? Like Susan said, they turn around and leave. There's no place to park. So they park at Babel's parking lot. They have to cross the street. People have walkers, they have wheelchairs. During the summer, it's that nice grassy part, but in the winter, they have to cross the street. How are they gonna get the wheelchairs in the snow?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you. We are a victim of our own success. We have so many great things in Norwood, right? We have great things here.
We have great things here. Good evening. Tom McClintock, District 2, 45 Lincoln Street, 781-223-7835. I'm all in favor of this project. I realize that, what's new, what's coming before us is different. I have a daughter-in-law who's a surgeon and a son, and she's married to my son. They have a beautiful house with a 3-car garage and do not own a car. I'm telling you, the generation does not own cars. They will take a zip car. They took a zip car from Providence to the beach house down in Hummerock this summer. That's what they do. They take the Uber. Visitors are not going to be showing up with cars and parking. They will be showing up with an Uber, and the Uber goes away. Same thing with automated cars when that comes along. So, and as far as the parking goes, it is a generational thing. The town has known for a long time we have a parking issue. That's a different project for the town to address. But I don't think we should impose it on one project. And by the way, from a snow standpoint, most of the parking is covered. So the snow plow issue is not as big an issue as some people have mentioned. And we can speculate what might or might not happen with wheelchairs and whatever. We can speculate till as we like to say, till the cows come home. But I think this is a great project. We should support it.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hello, my name is Jim Sullivan, lifelong Norwood resident, currently at 78 Woodland Road. I just have a brief statement that I wrote down. After carefully reviewing the proposal for 55 Lennox Street, I strongly believe it should be approved. The new building fits well within the character of the neighborhood and helps address the urgent need to lower the housing costs in our area. With the Norwood Hospital expected to come back online at some point, we can only anticipate another surge. What that? We can only anticipate another surge of, another surge in demand for doctors, nurses, and support staff, many who may enjoy the benefit of living within walking distance of the living space, the workspace, sorry. Avoiding the high costs of owning a car. I have 20-year-old kids. They do have a car, but they just got it and one's already selling it because they realize they don't use it just as the driveway. This project makes too much sense to pass up. In the past, when good projects were denied, developers responded by pursuing 40Bs. Projects which are often less aligned with the community's vision. This is our opportunity to support a thoughtfully, locally appropriate development that benefits Norwood as a whole. For all these reasons, I respectfully urge the planning board to approve the project at 55 Lennox.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up.
My name is Bill Kinsman, number 85 Ann Road in Norwood. And I was a longtime member of town meeting, and I was a member of the permanent building committee when we built this addition. Now, what I'd like to know is, where was the architect when this was brought before you because he certainly dropped the ball by letting his client think that he could build this building with inadequate parking, in my opinion. A lot of the things that I wanted to talk about have already been discussed, so I'm going to skip down to, have we ever talked, or we ever mentioned, about families that move into this place that have 2 cars? No, it hasn't been heard tonight, but now you have. I think that the parking issue is going to be big, no matter what we do, all right? And I know the younger ones are getting away from it, but I'm sorry, my son has 2 cars, he lives in Maine. Of course, one of the cars is a motorcycle, which I'm not too happy about, but that's the way it is. So that's all I really have to say.
Okay, thank you, appreciate your opinion. It'll come out if you want to hold it.
It's okay.
Okay.
My name's Sam Shea. I live at 31 Fulton Street in Norwood. And I am in favor of this project. I've seen firsthand how the lack of housing inventory in Norwood has made it nearly impossible for young people to find an affordable place to live. For many of us, moving out of our parents' home into homes of our own feels out of reach. My sister actually just went to the town hall to ask about putting a shipping container in my parents' backyard because of this issue. So I'm actually kind of dealing with that firsthand, hence why I'm here tonight. Something me and my sister are actually passionate about. We definitely want to stay in Norwood, but it's making it a lot harder for us because of the cost of living. This project offers a real solution, adding new housing in a location like this, walking distance to shops, restaurants, the train. Exactly what our town needs. A lot of young professionals, like many people have said, they don't have cars. And a lot of people Uber. I mean, I work with someone who's 35 and she's never gotten her license.
Okay, get a little closer to the mic. We got a couple people that can't hear you and they want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I work with someone who's 35, she never got her license, and she Ubers every single day everywhere she goes. And that's someone who's 35, and I know people younger than me are doing the exact same thing. It's good for the environment and long-term vibrancy of new downtown Norwood. So I'm asking that the board is in favor of this project. And
Well, you're a demographic, so I have a quick question for you.
yes,
What do you think is affordable for us one-bedroomers to, for you?
what's affordable?
Yeah, for you.
2,300.
Okay, for a one-bedroom? Okay, thank you. Thank you, good job.
Andrew Jones, 8 Myrtle Street. I've spoken in favor of this project a few times, and I wanted to bring up another point that Norwood does have a parking problem, and the problem is there's too much of it. When you look at our town finances, you can clearly see, if you've been following town meeting or the newspaper or anything, we have a structural deficit. And I looked at the property tax assessment card for this property. It's currently valued at $870,000. That's, if you tax it at the commercial rate, that's $20,000 a year for the town. I looked at a nearby unit, Avalon, looking at just price per square footage of what it's been assessed for. It's about $207 a square foot. And I looked at the plans, it's about 120,000 square feet total. Is that about right? So based on that, if it's taxed at the residential rate, that would bring in $266,000 a year. That's just, that's my back of the napkin math. That's $240,000 of extra revenue for the town. That's enough money to pay for teachers. If we don't do something about our financial problem, we're going to lose services, we're going to cut staff. If we don't do something about this, we're just going to go bankrupt. When you pave a piece of property, it gets assessed for, according to this, it was about $1 a square foot. $1 a square foot, that brings in what? A dime in taxes? If you build it into something livable, you're bringing in tax revenue. That's what the town needs to survive, especially when you're talking about your downtown region. That's where your value needs to come from in the town in order to pay for the town's bills. Right now we have 4,000 square feet of pavement that goes straight into our streets, straight into our sewers, and has to be maintained by our own stormwater management problem. If we put in this, we've got, some people bring up that it's not enough storage, but it's a lot more than there is now, so I don't understand what that point is even about. because we're increasing the amount of stormwater retention. We're saving our town money by building better stormwater management into the properties that we've got. And we're building a town that's gonna afford the bills that we have. And all of this at the cost of 4 municipal parking lots within a 10-minute walk of that property. Norwood Theater, 5-minute walk. Day Street lot, 7-minute walk. Talbot lot, 9-minute walk. The Town Hall Annex lot, 6-minute walk. Stretch your legs a little bit, Norwood, and you can get out there, and all of those lots are available to be purchased for permits. I looked at the town website.
What's the Talbot lot?
That's the one behind Furlongs.
Oh, Babel's lot, okay, but that belongs to the town, doesn't it?
It belongs to the town, and you can buy a permit to park at any of those 4 lots. It's $150 a year
Okay, thank
to
you.
buy a lot at any of those.
And thank you for doing the numbers.
Thank you. Yep.
Good evening. My name is Linda Ippolito. I'm a lifelong resident of Norwood. I live at 123 Arnold Road, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight in support of the proposed project at 55 Lennox Street. I'll be honest, I'm not someone who automatically supports every new housing development, but what makes this project different is its location. It's ideally situated, surrounded by existing housing, within walking distance to shops, restaurants, entertainment, and the train station. This is exactly the kind of smart, well-placed development that makes sense for our town. Housing costs in Norwood have become increasingly unaffordable for many residents. I truly believe that the most effective way to help bring those costs down is to increase our housing supply. This project is a step in the right direction, providing new homes in a location that can support them without putting undue strain on other parts of the town. For all these reasons, I respectfully urge the planning board to vote in favor of the project at 55 Lennox Street. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Hi, Beverly Boudreau. I live at 23 Roxana Street, a lifelong resident of Norwood as well. Over the years, the cost of living in Norwood has skyrocketed, yet our community continues to grow as our children raise their own families and want to stay here. The challenge we face is clear. We're running out of homes for these families. The solution is simple. Build more homes to ensure that future generations can continue to call Norwood home. The proposed development is a beautiful, thoughtfully designed building that will replace an eyesore and uplift the neighborhood. Beyond improving the appearance of the area, this project will generate significant tax revenue, which will support the vital services that benefit all residents. I see no downside to this development, only benefits for our community. With that in mind, I respectfully urge the planning board to vote yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is James Golden. I live on 7 William Street, and I'm not in favor for this project. I don't think there's enough parking at all for this project, and I think the idea that young people don't drive is kind of insane, because I have a car, I drive to work every day, and I think people drive my age. I don't know where this is coming from.
Did you say William Street? I have to go look at William Street.
It's not a big street.
Next door to K Street.
Very small.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lindsay Jama. I'm born and raised in Norwood. I live at 14 Bright Street. I'm here tonight to respectfully urge the planning board to vote in favor of the proposed project at 55 Lennox Street. The current building site is outdated, it's an eyesore, and it's long overdue for redevelopment. And this proposal offers a real opportunity to bring positive change to the space. There's no truly better location. It's in walking distance to restaurants, shops, public transportation, and it just makes sense, both practically and visually. Equally important is who's behind the project. The developer was also born in Norwood, runs his business in Norwood, and continues to invest time and resources into our community. He understands and cares about this town in a way that an out-of-town developer simply wouldn't. Choosing to support local developer means choosing someone who will prioritize the long-term well-being of Norwood. All that being said, I strongly encourage the planning board to support this project. It's a smart, responsible step forward for Norwood and our entire community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Goodwin. That's Goodwin. I live at 112 Lennox. Lennox condos. 1 Lennox, sorry. I stand corrected. Yes, I'm unit 112. I am against this. The area is too congested as it is. I'm a former employee of Norwood Hospital. I can remember the doctors going around wanting to have expanded the hospital back in the day. Oh, we can't go above the 3 floors because of the helicopters and the airports. Well, what gives him the right to have his buildings go 4 and 5 floors when our building is 3 flights, across the way is at 3 flights because of any kind of flight interference? In the parking, it's just ridiculous. There is not enough space, and you're taking apart a building. Yes, you may think it looks unappealing, but anybody else who bought the building had the sense to fix it up. I mean, it's already built to go as a business, as a garage. How hard is it to power wash that or paint it or whatever and put it as
Direct it
a
to me,
business,
please.
sorry, as a business? And if you're that much concerned with Norwood, why didn't you put the money into putting
Direct
it
it
up
to me,
towards the
please.
Norwood Hospital? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Mahana. I live at 60 Lennox Street, number 16. I'm an abutter to this project, and I am in support of additional apartments in Norwood. I am not in support of this project with regard to its size and its scope. The question I have for the board is, was a shadow study done for this 5-story height? So when I was driving out of our complex today to come to this meeting, the sun was setting, and realized with a 5-story thing, with a 5-story apartment building now across the street, we'll no longer catch the remainder of the sunset. We'll no longer be able to see the top of Town Hall from what I believe is my perspective, nor the light on top of the DPW garage. So for the folks at 60 Lennox, as well as the folks at 48 Lennox, the apartments right in front of our complex, our views now are going to be obstructed by the size of this building. I'm not going to repeat the comments about the parking. I share all the concerns everybody has stated, but I will state, again, as an abutter to this, I can see on the very first day when there's not enough parking, people trying to park in our complex. And our complex was built in such a way that the planning board approved. We have guest parking spaces, which I believe is appropriate. And to approve a 96-unit building with no visitor parking is something that really shouldn't be done. The other comment I would have is we keep talking about young people owning cars. Everything on site at the anecdotal information here. If we actually had actual information, it would be beneficial. Maybe if we knew what the number of adults to car ratio at Avalon, that might be beneficial and could support the argument or be against the argument. Finally, with regard to occupancy, do we know the occupancy percentage of Avalon and what the potential is for this, this location? I think we all agree that the Norwood Tire building is an eyesore. And again, replacing that, I think almost everybody in this room supports it. And again, I just oppose the size and scope of the project. Thank you.
Hi, Mary Coughlin, 1 Lennox Street. First of all, thank you for allowing us the time that everyone will be heard tonight. It's appreciated. Second, someone just showed me that Luster Cleaners is going to be up for sale. So that could be the end of that parking spot. My big concern is, I have a couple of them. I would have loved to have been in the room when the developer, the design team, and perhaps an attorney thought this all out. Someone would have had to say, oh no, you have to have 15 feet of clearance between the side of the property and the property line as in the town the zoning regulations. Someone else would have said, oh no, don't worry about it. The fire chief says there will be no problem. The men won't mind climbing over hedges or climbing over chain link fences from the abutting properties to get to it. Then there was mentioned about the 1.1 parking spaces. Someone in that room had to say, the developer or the design team had to say, 1.1 spaces is mandated both by town meeting and by the zoning code. Someone had to say, don't worry about it. It'll be overlooked. Then someone had to say, it can only be 44 feet. It's in the zoning code, page 134. Someone in that room had to say, don't worry about it, it won't be a problem, we'll get away with it. So I urge you to not approve this, and just remember, what you do with this tonight will be your legacy as a board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. One quick second.
Sarah, do you want me to interject any of the stuff that... Okay.
All right. I wanted to get everybody's questions in, and I've got copious notes here.
Good
Yes,
evening.
sir.
Good evening. My name is Adam Stivaleta, and I'm a resident of Norwood. I live at 24 Greenwich Road, and I'm here tonight to express my support for the proposed project at 55 Lenox Street. The development represents an exciting opportunity for Norwood. It will bring more people into the downtown area, people who will support our small businesses, shop locally, and help breathe new life into a part of town that truly needs revitalization. Our downtown depends on foot traffic, and there's no better way to support that than by adding thoughtfully designed housing just steps away. The existing building at the site is outdated, unattractive, and in poor condition. In contrast, the proposed new building will enhance the neighborhood aesthetically, generate significantly more tax revenue for the town, and do so without disrupting the character of the surrounding area. This project makes sense economically, visually, and practically. For Norwood's future, for our small businesses, for our community as a whole, I respectfully urge the planning board to vote in favor of this proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is David Egley. I live at 60 Lenox Street, again, directly across the street from this proposed.
Get the mic a little closer to your mouth, please. Thank you.
My name is David Egley. I live at 60 Lenox Street, directly across Lenox Street from Norwood Tire, this proposed development. And to be honest, I really want to like it. I think it's a beautiful building. I think that I appreciate that the developer did try to think creatively to find additional parking solutions, but in terms of not affecting the character of the immediate area, like the previous commenter said, I think that's just not true. I think the problem is that it's not just the fact that they're asking for, 2/3 the parking that they're required to have. It's the lack of the visitor parking and the fact that, in an area that already has problems with some of the visibility, like as was already mentioned, from Lenox Street onto Railroad Avenue, where there's some tight sight lines, and on K Street to Railroad Avenue. And my complex, which does have visitor parking, finds that there are some problems with overflow into that that's not supposed to be. So I think there's going to be a lot of impacts on the surrounding area. And, even if you take at full face value the whole idea that there'll only be 70% of the units will have a car, there will be major impacts due to the overflow from just ordinary everyday life. So if you approve this, it's going to have some real negatives to a lot of local Norwood people. Whether you say it's the shadows, whether you say it's the parking, whether you say it's whatever, there may be some upsides to this, but there's some real negatives too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Joseph. I'm a resident of Norwood. I live at 70 Pilgrim Drive. I'm here tonight to express my support for the proposed development at 55 Lenox Street. Much of what we've heard already, I'm probably going to say, reiterate it again, but With the rising cost of housing in our area, it's a real and growing problem. Prices continue to climb with no signs of slowing down. It's clear that the only long-term solution is to build more homes. While most people agree on the need for more housing, we still face resistance when it comes to the time to take action. This project is an opportunity to do just that. What's being proposed makes sense both for the location and the community. The current structure is outdated, run down, surrounded by existing multifamily homes. Replacing it with a modern multifamily development fits seamlessly with the character of the neighborhood. It's also ideally located close to shopping, grocery stores, and trains, making it a smart transition and friendly choice for new housing. As a Norwood resident, I truly believe this is exactly the kind of thoughtful development our town needs right now. I urge the planning board to support the proposal at 55 Lennox Street. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Allison Hines, and I'm an almost lifelong resident at 7 Hawthorne Street in Norwood. I'm here to respectfully ask the planning board to approve this project. I have heard the positives about this, and frankly, I think that the negatives that we've been hearing repeated are hypotheticals, and I think Mr. Shelby here has thoughtfully thought out how he's going to.
Hold on, guys, she's got the floor. Please don't.
I can wait.
Yeah, we don't need to wait, okay? Everybody's got their say, so keep it down, please. Thank you.
So not to steal a phrase that others have used, but I've heard thoughtfully, thoughtfully planned out, thoughtfully, mulled over here, and that's the thing that had stuck out to me. This isn't a situation where Mr. Shelby is saying, yeah, parking's gonna be an issue, but we'll deal with it. He's gone and he's looked for this solution, and I think what we have here working in our favor is that we are a town that is easily walkable downtown. You can walk and get groceries. You can walk to CVS. There's shops. There's restaurants. What better spot to improve this land? What better use other than to have this development that would support young professionals to come to Norwood? I see it with coworkers and friends. I unfortunately would no longer identify myself necessarily as a young professional. I think I have slightly aged out of that, but I think it's a win. I can see coworkers of mine commuting using the train, and I think this is a perfect solution for that space. So I respectfully would ask that you approve this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think we're down to our last. I think that's the last one. Nobody
Hi.
else? Okay.
My name is Donna Burke. I live on William Street, 19 William Street. And again, I would like to know, the people who are approving this, how close do you live to the building being built? I mean, we are gonna be impacted. Our streets are so narrow, and if cars decide they need to park on our street, I would like to respectfully ask for no parking signs. No parking signs on the street, William Street, K Street, Clark Street, because they are all too narrow, and we will stand no chance in getting a fire truck or an
Yeah, I think that's
ambulance or
something
anything.
it has to go through the selectmen, right? Sign, no parking signs, is that the selectmen's deal? You have to call them.
Whoever it happens to be. I
You
just
know where to
found out
find
about
them.
this yesterday.
Town
because
hall.
I didn't get the little card, even though I live very close. In fact, my neighbor, who lives 2 houses over, did get the card. I did not. How much are these gonna cost? Can I ask you
Did
that?
you go through me?
Okay, sure. How much are these parks
Seems
gonna
silly.
cost?
Whatever the market dictates and when once it's built will be the market rate. I
Right,
can't.
and he can't give you that answer because he doesn't know what he's gonna pay in an interest rate. He doesn't know what the market rate, I mean, this could be 2-year project, you think 2 years to get it done? At least 2 years, so none of us have a crystal ball. We don't know who's gonna have cars and who doesn't. We're all guessing. We don't know how much he's gonna charge because we don't know what the market's gonna do. We're all guessing. This is a tough one. You can see we're evenly split. Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's quite all right. I understand. I just wanted to know because I couldn't afford $2,300 to get an apartment. Are these gonna be condos or are these gonna be
Or
rentals?
apartments, rentals, rental units, yeah.
I just have a real issue with the parking. I think the building looks beautiful. I absolutely, I love it. I really don't want any more buildings. I've lived there for 24 years. I've watched Lennox Street go up. I've watched Railroad Avenue go up. I've watched the ones right beside me. Again, I'm sorry, that's Central, Lenox, and Railroad Avenue, I think it is. We've got way too many apartments there.
I get that, you know, it's the common theme. We love this town, and that's why it's getting built up, because we're a victim of our own success. Everybody wants to be the last one in, okay?
All right, but there are other places to
I
build, right?
get that, but you
And
can
if
see
we-
how we're split.
And if we can't have enough parking spaces, downsize the building. Now, I understand he's saying it wouldn't be feasible economically. Figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Paul Ferrazzani. I live at 40 Saunders Road.
I'm sorry, where?
40 Saunders Road. I just have a question. You know, you have, majority of the apartments are gonna be single bedroom,
One bedroom.
one bedroom.
One and two bedroom.
How many people are gonna be there by themselves? A lot of people have mates, so they're gonna be 2 people for these single rooms, single bedrooms. My question is, what are the chances that there's only gonna be 1 car or no cars? I think.
Again, we can, you know, this is, the room is split.
So, I mean, people are saying that most people are not gonna have a car. I find that kind of hard to grasp right now. So, I'm against the idea of allowing this to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Jim Kirker, 128 Hill Street. I am not a lifelong resident of Norwood. We just moved here a couple of years ago. I just had a couple of questions. Has the developer bought that land yet? Is
Yes.
that paid for?
Yes.
So he does know what his nut's going to be for.
Yes. Yes.
And so my question is it possible to build something smaller there?
I don't know that that's a question that we can answer, because this is what the proposal is, this is what we have to deal with, and this is what we have to vote on. Whether, you know, we're not gonna go back and rewrite it. This is what he wants to build, and this is what we have to vote on. And as you can see, we're almost evenly split.
It seems
Okay,
though.
yes. Okay, all right.
One of the things I am noticing, Madam Chair, is
Of the people that spoke.
the people who are in favor of this don't seem to be people that live very close to that.
I don't, you know, that's another thing that a lot of people have brought up. I don't think you need, I understand their point, but I don't think you need to live close. We all use the town. So, do we not get to say?
The quality of
Okay.
life impact of the people that live close I think should be taken into consideration. So
Okay.
I'm just really curious. So my understanding is that he bought this property, he knew what he was going to be paying for that property, and he knew that he was probably going to have to build that 5th floor in order for it to be viable financially for him and whoever else is backing him. And therefore, he already knew that he was going to have to come before the board and ask for this.
Well, they all do, because that was the MBTA rules, and it went in front of town meeting.
But I just don't get why he would vote for this. It just seems to me that the MBTA thing is something that pretty much a lot of us are against, and now you're helping this go along like this. I really think that this is, if he knew that he was going to not have enough parking spaces, why start the project?
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Alan Kershane. I live at 60 Lenox Street.
I'm sorry, 6 or 60?
60 Lenox Street. I wasn't going to speak because I've spoken at the last few, but I decided to only because I do support the project and I do live very close to it. And I also feel like I live in downtown and I expect a certain amount of people and, a little bit more activity going on. Thank you.
Thank you. We have anybody else?
I'm gonna go to the online. Anybody else, you can hop back in line after we take the onliners. Mr. Brody, you're up.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Steve Brody, 102 Devon Road. I request the planning board reject this project. This project at 55 Lennox Street should not be allowed to proceed as it is now conceived. The parking is insufficient. Now, the minimum parking requirement by our zoning law is 1.1 parking space per unit. Now, I believe the planning board is really not authorized to grant a waiver for this project. For the zoning law to be changed, it has to be decided by town meeting. Now, one thing I also mentioned last time is that I think Rockland Bank is going to close that building that's right next door. That maybe that should be looked into, and then you could have additional land and parking.
We have to deal with what's in front of us, Mr. Brody. So
Okay,
what
thank
could
you.
happen down the road, let's deal with the project as it sits, okay? You still have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I hope the planning board rejects this project, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brody. Stop clapping. Amy Ivory is online. Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy Ivory, and I'm at 88 Manhattan Street. And with listening to all this, I have a question. Everyone's talking about affordable housing, but just a few minutes ago, you said that with interest rates and how things work out, we don't know what the rent is going to be. So how do we know that this is truly going to be affordable housing?
No, only a percentage of it.
I'm sorry?
Did you want to, was that a question? It's kind of,
Yes.
Okay, so only a percentage of them are affordable, the rest are market rate. And it's based on median income in the town. 90% single family, single person, am I correct in that, Sarah? 90,000, I mean? No? Sure, yeah. There's a median income.
There's a
A calculation, which is a bad thing and I'm not good at, but we don't know what that's going to be in 2 years when it's finished because it'll change. Just like the income, just the index, everything changes. Even his
Okay.
interest rate, okay?
Thank you. I also have as far as the parking is concerned, and they're talking about the younger generation not having cars. I have 4 children, and between the ages of 30 and 21, all live here in town, and they each have a car because they have to get to work. I mean, if you don't work in downtown Boston, let's say you work in Easton, you're not going to move to Norwood without a car. The only young people this is going to attract is someone who's working in downtown Boston. Even if you worked in Cambridge, you'd have to take multiple public transportation or the expense of an Uber, and an Uber is uber expensive. I can't see everyone, I know the young kids do it, but they won't be able to do it forever. It's just frightfully expensive. And also, what happens, with the bowling alley, when that gets sold and opened up, whatever that's going to be is going to take up public parking as well. I just don't think that we should use
If we can stay with this project, that would be great.
I will go downtown, and if there's no parking, I'm not going to stop, at Pizza Palace if there's no parking.
Okay.
I don't want to go. I want to be able to park reasonably close, and I'm just saying, I have a big issue with the parking. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's up next here? Mr. Palmetier. I don't see him.
Hello.
Oh, there it is.
Hi. I'm Brian Palmetier, 18 Ridge Road in Norwood. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes. Are you good?
Yep. Thank
All right, well, since many of my fellow citizens have already expressed opinions similar to mine, I have only a couple of considerations to add and a question. Madam Chair, through you, could I ask if my understanding is correct that the limited number of spaces that there are going to be will be subject to a lottery among tenants, and that the parking spaces are not part of the rent for those who do win the lottery? Those that do win the lottery will have to pay extra for that parking?
That was not my, let me ask the applicant, is that what you're gonna do?
A lottery?
No, it'd be first come, first served.
First come, first serve. So if he rents out,
So if I understand correctly, that'll be whoever gets there to rent first.
the first renter
and then
gets a spot.
Move in
Yeah.
are going to have to.
Correct.
Yes,
Any
first
new
come, first
tenants
serve.
that move in are going to have to wait for a parking space to open up?
Or they won't rent.
They won't rent. Correct.
Sorry, I'm answering.
No, you're right.
Is that, did you get that, Brian? I think you're frozen. Is it? Brian? Not frozen. Do you have any more questions, Brian?
Yeah, I'm not sure I heard the answer. Sorry, it got faint. I've already lost the connection 3 times tonight and had
Okay.
to log back in.
Do you want me?
Could you repeat the answer?
First come, first serve. No lottery.
Okay, so then if I understand that, so it's not a lottery, so any tenants that aren't the first that want cars, they're gonna have to wait for somebody to leave that has a car before they can get a space.
Or they won't rent from him.
Right, got it, okay. Well, I guess my comments would come next then. Well, when this hearing was continued tonight, I was hopeful that the developer would come back with a more reasonable proposal to improve the ratio of apartment units to parking spaces, so it would become closer at least to what was the ratio approved by town meeting. For example, the high-rise buildings might have come down from 5 floors to 3 or 4, so that the under-building parking would be sufficient to conform to the town bylaws. I think to vote in favor of this proposal would be like a slap in the face to town meeting, which had reasons for favoring the existing ratio. Some of tonight's speakers have suggested that there's a generational change in car use that might justify a smaller ratio of parking space to units. Well, if this is true, then the proper course of action would be to bring a proposal to town meeting for the bylaws to be amended. I think it's unfair to be asking the planning board to make so large an exception when the bylaws are quite clear about what the citizens of Norwood desire and have voted for.
Thank you. And next online. That's it online? That's it online. Does anybody else in the audience that hasn't spoken want to be heard? Anybody else? Because we're going to go back to the board. Okay, we only have one repeat customer. Okay, nobody else? Everybody's good.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. What happens if you say no tonight? What happens with the plan? What happens to him as far as if you turn this down?
He has to, is it 2 year? If he gets, for 2 years, he can't come back with a proposed plan. So.
Does he still get the, so the
If he-
building doesn't get built?
Correct.
Thank you. With all due respect, I hope you vote no.
Oh, do we have somebody else that wants to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Pamela Wolfrey, 9 Clark Street in Norwood. It is one of the abutting streets. I would love for the committee to come and see the streets and see how narrow they are. I think that, people are talking about the younger generation and talking about ride shares. Ride shares don't come out of nowhere. It might seem like a small point, but ride shares wait in the neighborhoods and they wait in the parking lots, in the spots for...
Oh, I can't hear you. Put the mic by your mouth, please.
Ride shares wait in parking lots and they wait in neighborhoods for rides to be hired to pick up. So if there's a large percentage of people who are calling ride shares, they're going to be circling the neighborhoods and waiting in the town parking spots for their rides to be picked up. And I think that that's something to consider because that will impact the people who are saying they're in favor of this project who don't live within the immediate neighborhood.
Okay,
Thank you.
And nobody else wants to speak? You're sure? Nobody else wants to speak? Okay. I'm going to turn it back to the board and see if we have any further questions, because this is a difficult decision, people. I know it doesn't For whatever side you're on, it doesn't seem difficult, but it is a difficult decision. We want money in our coffers to pay for things. We had one person did the numbers, and I appreciate whoever that was because I'm not a numbers guy. And we don't want to make it worse. It really is a hard decision. I know everybody's committed to their side, but it's a tough decision. So, let's go around the board. Ernie, do you have anything you'd like to
I
add?
have no further questions. I spoke earlier and
Okay.
I'm good right now.
Joe?
Nothing further. Okay. Nothing further.
Okay, since they've given me this mic, I appreciate everybody's input, and again, both sides have valid points. We need property to not be blighted. We need income to come in. We need new people. None of us can prove that the younger generation has or doesn't have cars. We can argue that until we're all older than me. Some of my questions are, and my concerns are, everybody tells me everybody's working from home now. So that's an issue I had with his development. I like this property. I like the look of it. I like where it is. Ernie told me not to say I don't like the MBTA thing, but I don't, Ernie, so, you know, I don't listen to you often. It's a good-looking building. It's not precedent setting. If we say yes to something, doesn't mean we have to say yes to the next one. Mr. Riley's still in the back of my head. But I think that, do we have any handicap spots? Somebody brought that up.
3.
We have 3 handicap spots, okay. You all got your say, and I ask you again if you wanted to say anything, so now you can't talk amongst yourselves, okay? Please? I hear you. I hear the neighbors. I hear what you're saying. We do have a right. Everybody said we voted at town meeting 1.1. The planning board, that's why there's 5 of us up here, to take the slings and arrows, if we so choose, to give a variance on parking. That's why they have 5 elected volunteers up here to weigh this out. It is not an easy decision. We do not want to pit the neighbors against the neighbors. That's always my concern, because we're supposed to take the hit. You're not supposed to be fighting with everybody if the parking spots, if you're overflowing into each other's lots. That's what I don't want to happen. Oh God, I hate not being able to see. Again, we're never going to come to an agreement with who's going to have cars and who's not. We won't know until it's done being built, and none of us have a crystal ball. I just want to clear up one thing. The lady that lived on Lennox, you were quoting the rules from the planning book. The MBTA rules are different. It's a whole, what's it called? Yes, I'm going to let Sarah, who's much more succinct at that.
Which takes precedent.
Go. Oh,
Sorry.
So just to clarify so that everybody's operating with accurate information, which I think is important. So the zoning bylaw has the section that was passed just a couple of years ago for the MBTA Communities Overlay District. That was passed at town meeting. It does require, it sets certain parameters relating to building height, to how much open space is required on the parcel, how much parking is required, how many affordable units within a development of a particular size are required. All of that was voted at town meeting, and it is true that 1.1 parking spaces is both the minimum and maximum that was set by town meeting in that zoning bylaw. What that zoning bylaw section also includes explicitly is the authority for planning board to grant waivers. It is not an open-ended authority. It was explicitly written for certain general requirements. that would allow the parking, or allow the planning board to really consider a particular proposal in a particular location, to be flexible where they thought that that was appropriate in order to make sure that the development was best for the town. It doesn't allow them the ability to waive other requirements, like the affordability, for example. They don't have the ability to accept a different proposal on the affordability than what the bylaw requires. But the bylaw does very clearly state that the planning board has the ability to consider a waiver request for the parking. So that's something that I think is helpful to understand, that this isn't necessarily, the planning board just deciding to, go against necessarily what town meeting had said. Waivers in general are something that the planning board can utilize, but they have to be expressly authorized to grant them by the zoning bylaw, which is voted on by town meeting. Does that answer the question?
Yes, because I wanted to clear that up, because we're not arbitrarily just ignoring because I can see how people would think that.
Yes.
We're not just arbitrarily
Ignoring the rules of the book, because
we have different
rules with the MBTA. Again, I can see both sides. This is a really difficult decision. It really is. I also wanted to, we have some letters, and the people that have written those letters, we have 5 different letters that are all going into the file. Correct, Sarah?
Yes, whatever.
Okay, so should I read off who they came from, or just know that they will go into the file?
You can, but they've
Okay.
already been added to the record.
So, Steve Canecci's letter is going in, Paula Angel, Ed Ferris, Donald Murphy, and, John Shelby. Oh, that's you. Okay. So we have 4 letters that are going into, that will be in the file. Anything else I need to cover, Sarah?
Yes, if you don't mind. I wanted to
Why don't you come over and sit next to me?
get some. The only other note I made, again, that was a clarifying point, just to provide information, was relating to the stormwater standards. So for the special permit for that extra floor building height, the zoning bylaw for this overlay district does allow the planning board to grant that extra floor of building height if they meet the higher standards that are set in the bylaw. The bonus that was chosen for this development is under the stormwater improvement and heat island bonus. And so I just wanted to speak again, to say that that building height is something that is allowed by the bylaw if the planning board determines that the standards have been met. There are different standards for stormwater design for new development versus redevelopment. The Massachusetts Stormwater Handbook does set a different set of requirements for brand new construction versus redevelopment. The standards for redevelopment kind of boil down to do something better than what's currently there, which for a lot of sites like this one and others, often there's no stormwater management design, so that's not difficult to exceed, right? When you're talking about designing something that's an improvement. The intention in this bylaw requirement was to require somebody who's attempting to qualify for this bonus to meet the stormwater standards for new development, even if it's a redevelopment property, which this one is. And honestly, most projects in Norwood are going to be redevelopment and not brand new development. The stormwater design here has been reviewed by the town engineer and does meet those standards for new development.
Thank you. And to that point, somebody made the comment that it's a property that's sitting there and all the stormwater is running off into the onto the street, into the thing. It's going to be treated with a new building. That has some appeal to me. because I think the environment needs a break. You know, yes, it's a minimal from what the state requires, but that has some appeal to me. It also has some appeal to me that I'm only speaking for myself. There's 4 other votes. We need the property to not. We need to be paying some taxes. That being said, I still have a problem with the number of spots. And no, I already gave you a turn. I told you if you stand up, you had to do it before. I didn't close it. All right. All right, because I don't want to be said that you didn't get your questions in. So I'm going to ask one more time if anybody wants to say anything. Then I'm going to shut it down because I'm getting dirty looks. Go ahead.
I just would like to know, my name is Robert Patterson, 10 William Street. I'm affected by the traffic in my neighborhood, especially at the corner of Lenox Street and Manhattan Street.
Okay.
I'd like to know if anybody has done any kind of a study on 67 more cars on a 2-lane street.
It did not trigger a traffic study. Am I correct on that? It did not trigger a traffic study.
Why not?
Minimal. 67 cars is such a small.
67 cars all at 8 o'clock in the morning that have to go through that traffic light?
There is a calculation that triggers a traffic study, and I'm just going to say it because I always say things that come. I think traffic studies are a lot of hooey.
Yeah, well, I know that with me traveling through that area, it's hard to get through the traffic light as it is.
Right.
He had 65 more cars in front of me.
Again, we can't prove with those cars. No, it didn't trigger a traffic study.
Okay.
Okay. And we've got one other taker.
This is Sheila West.
Got to go to the mic and put it close to your mouth so everybody wants to hear what you have to say.
It's Sheila West, 1 Lenox Street. I sent a message to you guys about the traffic on Lenox Street, and I got a response. So I just wanted to let you know that if you want to see it, you can have it.
I don't understand. You sent.
It's about the traffic. With 67 more cars coming out, and only 3 cars could get through that light on Lenox Street in Manhattan.
Oh, you sent a letter to us.
I sent a letter.
Okay. All right.
You didn't mention my name.
I did not.
But I got a response from.
Read the response.
Is it in our package?
Yeah, we got your letter. I saw
All
your
right.
letter.
Just
Okay.
Read the response.
Go ahead and respond.
Hi. One quick thing, Mary Coughlin, 1 Lenox Street. If by chance this passes, we would like at 1 Lenox Street and probably others around us, mitigation so that the pest control is taken care of. Because once
That's
you
something we
pick up-
put in a lot of new developments. We do pest mitigation. The last 2 or 3 we did, he already agreed to it. We put it in Hoyle. We put it in.
It was already discussed last meeting.
Yeah, and that's already.
I
It's already in.
I didn't see that in the plans that I viewed. So,
Part of our, when we go through the decision.
all
if
right,
it's
well,
approved
could
or
you
not.
tell me how long that mitigation is for?
I assume it's from beginning, from breaking ground to completion.
It should be a little longer,
Past completion?
as has been past experience with developments in the area.
Okay, let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Second, just a point of information, when I tell people that the developer said this passed the soil test, they all laugh. That place was a repair station for 40 years. People know that in the old days, you dumped the oil down into the
Right, but
drain.
it didn't require that, so we can't.
Oh, he did say that it passed the soil test.
Okay.
Everyone laughed, I'm just saying.
Okay.
But
Not,
reports,
it's not
reports
something we can,
anyone can do a report, that's all I'm saying.
okay. So, I'm gonna close, can I close the meeting and we can still discuss?
You can close, if the board can take a vote to close the public hearing, which means they can no longer hear from
Okay.
members of the public or the applicant.
No, you have
You do
a
have one more
hand
comment.
raised. Brian Palmetier has a hand raised, please.
Okay, this is absolutely the last question I'm going to take, okay? Does everybody hear me? I know you're gonna keep having questions, I understand that, but I can't take any more, and Brian will be the last one. Got it? Go, Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question occurred to me after a speaker that came after me asked about the timeline if this gets rejected. If I could ask for clarification, if I'm understanding correctly, he won't be able to ask for another waiver for 3 years, but would the developer still be able to come back, say, with a proposal for a better development for, say, maybe a small?
No, it's not, he can't come back, he can't do another waiver, he can't make another application for 2 years. Am I right with that, Sarah?
For a similar proposal.
For a similar proposal. The waiver is...
The 2-year ban on repetitive petitions.
Yeah, it's like double jeopardy.
Oh, did I get the microphone off before I... Sorry.
You froze again.
You froze again.
Did you hear my whole question?
Go ahead, ask it again.
All right, sorry. It was just the 3 years, I understand that if it's turned down tonight, he can't come back and ask for a waiver on the parking, but is there anything to prevent him from coming back sooner than 3 years with a proposal for a scaled down development that came closer to the ratio?
First, it's 2 years. It's 2 years.
Oh, 2 years, I'm sorry. That's why I wanted to ask for
Second,
clarification, because I heard somebody say
They
3.
don't
I thought.
know. Can he, if he changes the project, can he come back with something different?
It has to be
Substantially, and that's pretty ambiguous. Okay, so it has to be substantially different, and I can't give you a definitive on that. And it's 2 years, he can't come back. So we can't double dip and come back in 6 months or 8 months, okay? Which is, again, we have a room full of people, everybody got their say, correct?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, everybody good? Okay. Nobody else online?
I need a motion like that.
Madam Chair, I think I should just let everyone know that I don't believe I'm ready to vote tonight. I really want to think about everything everyone has said. I know you might be upset, but there was a lot of good points tonight, and I would like to make my decision based on that.
Okay, thank you. Now, does everybody understand this is a simple majority? If we vote, we don't know if we're going to vote tonight. A simple majority means he only needs 3 votes to get it approved. We have one member who is not ready to vote for tonight, and we have been, in the last so many years, respectful of other board members who ask for more time to go out and amass. I know you're all here and you want to know, but we're kind of respectful of that, and I'm extra respectful of him because I'm usually the one that's asking for more time, and when I don't get it, I'm really unhappy.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, Ernie's got his hand up.
No, I was just gonna say, I think Brian just made a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, and we have a
Did I
second
hear that
from,
right?
yep. Is that what you wanted to
I'll
do?
second it.
Okay. Seconded by Ernie and Joe. All in favor, we have to roll call. All in favor of closing the public hearing, Ernie?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So the public hearing is closed. I can't take any more questions from the audience or online, but we can still discuss. We have one member that's not ready to vote, and I would like to be respectful of that, but I'm only one vote. So, Ernie?
I'll be respectful of that as well, and if some members aren't ready to vote, then I appreciate that and support them.
Okay. All right. I have one question for the applicant.
I can't answer? Oh, we closed the public. I have a mic. No. All right. So we've closed the public hearing and we're done, correct?
If you want to continue your deliberations to another date.
Are you gonna make that?
So moved.
Somebody's gonna make the motion.
So moved till
To what?
22nd?
September 8th is the
September 8th.
September 8th and 7th, yeah.
The motion is to move our deliberations and give all board members time to take more input.
Not to take more, sorry.
Or not to think about
Just
it.
to think about the input they
To think about the input that we received. And I really do appreciate your all being here. I really do. It's important that more people come to these meetings. They're pretty dry, but it's really important that you come.
I'll second the motion, sorry.
Okay, so we're seconded, and all in favor, roll call. Ernie? Where'd you go?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And the chair says yes. We are done. Yeah.
We still have minutes.
Yes, we have a few other things on the agenda.
Just can you re-announce to them when this thing's going to be?
Yes, September, we are going to vote. It's going to be back on our agenda for September 8th, right here at the Senior Center at 7 p.m. Or online, and anything you want to know, you can call the office, and Sarah will answer all your questions. Thank you all for coming.
We harass you up.
Okay, we do have other stuff on our agenda. Nobody wants to hear me.
We need to go. Okay. Thoughts?
Okay, we're voting on the minutes. Anybody have a motion? Motion to approve
Minutes from June 16th.
from June 16th to 25. Motion.
Quiet, please.
Guys, could you take it outside? We got a little bit of work to finish. Thank you. Ernie? Motion to approve the minutes, yes, yes, yes. Joe, yes. Brian, yes.
Yes.
Rob, yes, and the chair says yes. I have one thing that is not on our agenda. I would like, see, I wanted the crowd to stay. I would like to make a quick CP. Guys, could you take it outside for me, please? I would like to make, the CPA is having a info session. And we're going to have 3 places where those are going to be. One will be here at the Senior Center. One will be at the Norwood Library, and one will be at the Recreation Center. And we are asking the public to come and, see, I should have made them all stay here. To come and ask questions on how your CPA and tax money is being spent. So that is, the dates will be up on the NPA, public access, yes. September 16th is at the library, September 22nd is here at the Senior Center, and September 25th is at the Recreation Center. We're going to answer all your questions. Please come with them. Okay? And new programs are, or new, what do we call them? Projects. New projects are being taken as we speak. MPA is going to do a lovely little movie that's going to be running in a loop of some of your finished projects from the CPA, your tax dollars. Some of those will include the Memorial Hall benches, resurfacing Bond Street Playground, supplemental funding of the Carillon restoration, rehabilitation of the Old Paris Cemetery, windows and siding for the McDonough Community Housing Complex, Bernie Cooper Park, Butterfly Park. There's 36 of them. So we're going to run that on a loop on MPA as soon as we're done. So that's it. That's my pitch for tonight. Oh, motion to adjourn. I love having this microphone, Sarah. This is good. Motion to adjourn. Second. In favor. Ernie?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And the chair says yes. Good night.